This is why people actually don't follow Jesus. This is why people actually say that the Bible is not history, but the Bible is just a philosophy book. This is actually why people go against it, why people don't follow it, why people say, oh no, a different religion must be true, or no, being an atheist is true, there is no God. This is why people say that. Really. This is really why they say that. It's because they're afraid. They're afraid that they don't want to change. And they want to be justified in the fact that they don't want to change. But you can't change the truth to justify yourselves, because that's no longer truth. Now, people would say, well, you can't say it. How can you say it's true? It was written so long ago. How can you say it's true? If you did, like, go look at the evidence then. Go look at the evidence against it and look at the evidence for it. Way more evidence for it than against it. They actually made a whole movie about a hardcore atheist going against, which is a true story, by the way, based off a true story. Hardcore atheist journalist goes to try and disprove Jesus. Anything he can about Jesus in the Bible, he tries to disprove. He couldn't disprove a single thing. He couldn't disprove a single thing. He went and talked to top medical experts, top psychologists, top like he wanted to talk about to pastors. He wanted to talk to anyone who he could, top historians, anyone who he could, to get all the research he could do to really find if it's true or not. He was so he was so hardcore against it that he had a mountain of evidence to support Jesus, and he was still like, no, what can I find that makes this wrong? What can I find? What one thing can I find that makes all of that mountain wrong? What one little pebble can I find that just disproves that? And he couldn't, because there is none. You can't find anything to actually disprove it. And the only people that say something disproves it are people that aren't being honest with themselves and aren't actually open to if they're being biased or not. Like, what actually disproves the fact that it's real? Like, if this was a fake made-up story, why would women be the first witnesses of the empty tomb and of the wrapping of Jesus on the ground? Why would they be the first witnesses when women's like testimony or witness back then, like women as a witness or testimony for it or witness for it, it didn't count. They didn't count it back then. So why would it be the first one in a time period where they didn't even count it? Like, why? Like, there is more. There was over 5,000 pages or documents about Jesus. Not even from just believers, from atheists too, from people that just knew him as a human and nothing else. So you can't even say he's not a human. He's at minimum a human historian. And then there's claim. And then, how did he die? How did he die and then the tomb be empty? A sealed tomb, empty. And by the way, there was people watching. They didn't go into the tomb, so the women were still the first ones to witness the empty tomb. But they were watching the tomb to make sure the disciples didn't unseal it and take the dead body. So there was guards watching it, so that no funny business could even happen like that. And the Romans were the best people at killing. And crucifixion was the best way to kill. It had like 100% success rate. Like some people died from the lashes before the crucifixion alone. And then he went on to the crucifixion, the worst pain you could go through. He went through. And he chose to do it. He chose to do it. He didn't try to fight back at all. He didn't try to fight back or run from them at all. He was like, my time has come. Okay. And he chose to do it. Like, and 500, and then we say, well, he didn't rise from the dead. 500 people saw him rise from the dead. Like 500 people saw him after they saw him die. They saw him now alive. Like, they saw him now alive and healed. How would he be fully healed in 3 days from anything that he went through on the cross? He wouldn't be. Like, that's crazy. You can't even say it's a group delusion, because psychologists say that's a bigger miracle than Jesus rising from the dead. That 500 people were delusional and saw the same thing. That's a bigger miracle. And people died for their witness account of this. These disciples died for what they believed in. Why would they die for what they know is a lie? They wouldn't. They would have ran away. They would have ran to the other side of the world. They would have gone far away so they wouldn't be like killed. Or they would have just lied and said, oh no, we didn't actually like believe that. Oh no, you're delusional. We were actually with them. No. Like, they would have tried anything to live then. But no, they died for their belief, which means it's real. Because no person dies for what's a lie. You don't die for what's a lie. Like if someone had a gun to my head and said, if someone had a gun to my head and said, if you say 1 + 1 is 2, you're gonna die. No, that's a terrible analogy. Actually, you know what? We're not gonna use that, because I don't know. Okay, yeah, we're not gonna use that. Cut that out. We're not gonna use that. But you get the point. Like, no one dies for a lie. No one dies for a lie. Like, it's crazy. And then if you say every single thing written in the Bible is made up, that's wrong. Because they have found like things from the Bible. Like that, like they have found things from the Bible, so you can't even say it's a lie. Because there's truths in it. And many of the moral things we live by is literally from the Bible. Many of the moral things we live by is from the Bible. Except as a society, people like to just push sin into that. So now people are trying to just accept sin. Back to the main point though, people why do people actually say that it's made up or that it's not true? Because they're afraid that if they admit it's true, that means they need to change their ways or they're going to go to hell. And they don't want to think that they're going to hell. Because who wants to think they're going to the worst place ever? Nobody. They would rather listen to a lie than to actually be saved and to change their ways. And that's what they do. They listen to a lie instead of actually change their ways and listen to the truth. And like, it's crazy. Like, if I had the cure for cancer, it's like these non-believers are saying, oh, but I have to get, like, the needle has to go through my skin though for me to get the cure. Like, it's like the non-believers saying, but there's a needle attached to it. It can't be good then. It has to be bad. And then they go take other needles. It's like, that actually do contain bad stuff. They actually do contain drugs and bad stuff. It's like, how do you not? It's like, you only say the truth is no longer the truth because it doesn't agree with how you want to live. Which By the way, if God isn't real, if Jesus isn't real, if Jesus isn't God and the Bible is wrong, then how can people experience God? But yeah, how can some people not experience God? Some people can experience the lack of God in their life. Then other people can fully experience God in their life. If God's not real, how can that happen? How can you experience something that's not real in your life? You can't experience something that's not real in your life because it's not there. But you can experience it in your life through reading the scriptures, through reading the Bible, through praying, through spending time with Jesus. You can hear his voice, you can feel his presence, you can be guided by him into things that you never would have done before. And even miracles can happen, like even miracles that we would think, oh no, like miracles where there's no actual explanation for why it happened other than God. They happen. Like people get healed. Like there's medical cases of people being miraculously healed. Like they can now walk and they couldn't walk, or they can now speak and they couldn't speak. Like, so how can you explain that then? Like, what, they just randomly were all good? Like that's not how it works. Like no, that's a bigger miracle than God healing them. And it's like, it's kind of just like, it doesn't make sense, because if God is real, and he is, and Jesus is God, but if God is real, people can fully experience God in their life, and then people can experience the lack of God in their life. Because if you choose to not live with God, if you choose to not follow God, if you choose to reject God, he's going to take a step back out of your life. But if you choose to follow him, if you choose to believe in him, if you choose if you choose to believe that he is the right way, he takes a step into your life. More than a step into your life. He is fully into your life. And it's only for the better. Like, so if God's not real, how can people experience God? But if God is real, people can experience God and experience the lack of God in their life too. So it actually makes more sense for God to be real. And it makes more sense because everything has a maker. Everything has a maker or creator. Everything came from something. Even if you say, oh, well, the Big Bang Theory. Okay, so what happened to cause the Big Bang? Oh, well, there was nothing and then explosion. How? That's not possible. When do we ever get just random explosions from nothing causing it? From nothing causing it, how do we get an explosion? How do you get an explosion from nothing? Like if I look out my window and it like 5 feet off the ground, not touching anything, just in the air, there should be, like, how would there be an explosion? There can't be. Like, that's actually a bigger miracle than God. Like, it can't be, because that's just like that's not a thing. Like that's not a thing. Like we never see that. We never see that. Yet people claim, oh no, well, it happened, but we don't have any like evidence of it. We don't have any evidence of it, but yeah, it happened. You just have to like believe it happened. You need faith for the Big Bang Theory. 100%. Like, so even if you say the Big Bang Theory, you have to say something created it, something caused it. So God, you have to. So it literally points to God, not away from God. So you can't say science contradicts God, the Bible, because the Bible doesn't talk about science. So how can it contradict science? Like it doesn't. It doesn't contradict it. It doesn't even talk about it. How can it contradict something it doesn't even talk about? Like that's crazy. Like I don't know, but I don't get how people cannot believe it. Like There's so much evidence for it. There's zero against it, but there's so much for it. And then you get like the other religions, and it's like, where's the evidence to support those other religions? Because we have evidence to support Jesus. Where's the evidence to support the other religions? And if you say you don't need evidence, then that's wrong. Like, you are blind. Like, when in life do we ever need no evidence? Never. That you need evidence for everything. Like, if you're buying a car, you need evidence that the car works. You might not call it evidence, but it is evidence. Like, if you're buying electronics, you need evidence that it works. You might not call it evidence, but it is there. But it is that evidence. Like, so. But like, what's the even like bad part about, like, what I don't get is people that don't believe in it, they won't even give it a chance. They won't even give it a chance, or they'll let one bad church experience, one bad human, they'll let corrupt their whole view of it. And it's like, God isn't the church. You don't need the religion to have a relationship with Jesus. That's not what it is. You don't need the church to have a relationship with Jesus. That's just a bonus. The church is a bonus. Having community is a bonus, and it helps so much. But it's not necessary, but it does help. So what I would recommend is you get a relationship with Jesus first, then you try the church. Then you go to the church. Then you try the religion part of it. But if the religion part of it doesn't go with the Bible, then don't do it. But even if you're just a non-believer and you're like, some reason you clicked on this video, why don't you just pray to God? Like, talk to God, ask Him to reveal Himself to you. How does it hurt? Take a minute and do that. Honestly do that, and how it won't hurt you. Or maybe try reading like Genesis or Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John, because Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John directly talk about Jesus. Genesis talks about how like the beginning, Adam and Eve, what God created, how God created everything. So just give it a chance. Like, the only fair thing to do is to give it a chance. How can you, like, it's like when people say to kids, when parents say to kids, how do you know you don't like the vegetable? You haven't even tried it. You haven't given it a chance. You haven't given the Bible a chance. You haven't given Jesus a chance. Jesus loves you so much, He respects that if you want to live with Him or away from Him. So if you want to live with Him, He goes in deep into your life. If you want to live away from Him, He takes a step out of your life and just lets you live and lets you sort everything out. And then people become depressed. They become sad. They become suicidal. They become anxious. They become all these things. They become they look to the world for help, and the world doesn't know how to help. That's why there's thousands of self-help books. That's why there's thousands of help books, because they don't actually help. Like, if they all helped, not that many help books would be made. Like, they would have stopped way sooner, because they're like, yeah, that one just tells the truth. Like, that one helps. But it's like, no, they don't help for a reason. And in pills, medication, like, if you're taking medication for, I think, stuff like anxiety and stuff like that, it doesn't help you. It doesn't help you. It's just in your head. It doesn't actually help you. Because if you look at the side effects, the side effects are so much, or the side effects are making it so that it doesn't even, like, there's no point in even taking them in the first place. And yeah, the meds don't help. Like, the pills don't help. Drugs, alcohol, it doesn't help. Nothing worldly will help. That's why people still have the problem. Even though they go to this worldly things, they still have a problem. They go to worldly things and then they get a new problem. Like, but when people go to God, they don't get a problem. They get the solution. They get the cure for the cancer that's inside of them. They get like they get it. They get the cure for the plague that's inside of them, like the anxiety, the depression, the suicidal thoughts, like everything, the sadness, everything and anything. Only God can heal. Only God and time with God can heal. Some things God may heal in your life instantly. Some things might take a little bit of time. But you gotta give it a chance. You can't just say you don't like it without trying it. You gotta give it a chance. And giving Jesus a chance can't possibly hurt you at all. That's the great thing about it, is that giving it a chance doesn't actually hurt you. And if you say, oh, well, it's a cult, I'm not talking about the church. You don't have to go to the church or a community to find a relationship with Jesus. Relationship with Jesus is strictly you and Jesus one-on-one. You and God one-on-one talking, reading. Like, close the door, go to your room, close the door, pray to God, read, talk to God honestly, pour out your heart to him. Like, pour, like if a rag's dirty and or covered it or like full of water, you will like do that to get, like, you will like do that to like let everything out of it. Do that with your heart. Just let everything out of it to God. He knows what's on your heart and what's in your head. You just gotta let him in there so he can actually make changes. So now people hear changes and they get afraid, so I don't want to use the word changes, but he will make healing happen. You just gotta give him the chance to go into your heart and to heal it, to fix it, to go into your head and to fix it, to take those thoughts out, to take that negative self-talk out, to take everything that's bad out. That's all he wants, is to help you. Yet people are like, no, I don't need help. And then they go and then say online, I'm depressed, I'm sad, I need help, no one cares. Or they'll say that to themselves while watching a sad movie, listening to sad music, making them more sad, taking drugs that just amplify their emotions, that just make them stronger. It's like, Jesus won't make you feel like that. Like, if you feel empty, Jesus will make you feel whole. If you feel sad, Jesus will show you what true happiness is. If you feel like you don't know what love is, Jesus will show you what true love is. He is true love. That's why he went onto the cross for you, for us. Not because he had to, because he wanted to. Because he knew if he went to the cross, he died for all of our sins, that we could get to heaven. He knew that's the only way. Because we ain't good enough to go to heaven. Like, we ain't good enough to go to heaven. But by the time, like, before we're even 10, we're not good enough to go to heaven. Before we're 5, we're not good enough to go to heaven. Like, we're not good enough to go to heaven on our own merit. So Jesus, it basically said, hold up, I'll use my blood to cover the cost of your blood. So give the good news a try. Give Jesus a try. Because like we said, it can't possibly hurt you. And if you're afraid of the church and stuff, don't go to the church. At least not for maybe a half a year to a year, maybe a couple months. Then try it. But like, you can take it slow though. You can take it slow with Jesus. He knows what pace you need to go at. He knows what you need. He knows what you need better than you. Like, Like, I'll pray and I'll say, before the prayer even starts, I'm already praying to Jesus, asking him to guide me for what he knows I need to pray, not for what I want to pray. Because what I want to pray is like, oh God, I want to pray for success. I want to pray for a wife. I want to pray for all these things, like money, like all these things. And then Jesus is like, I know what you need to pray for, though. You need to pray for boldness. You need to pray to know what true love is before you can love anyone. You need to pray for more wisdom and discernment so you can understand what you're reading more. Like the Holy Spirit, Jesus, and God the Father all helps us. You just gotta let them into your hearts. That people can only do so much to help you. The world can only do so much to help you. At some point, you just gotta let Jesus take the wheel, man. God bless.